And as you guys know it, we're going to get into our AFC West season predictions, the most competitive division in the game of football, the National Football League. I'll tell y'all right off the bat, I have probably every team in this division making the playoffs. But maybe y'all do, maybe y'all don't. We're going to get into it. Everything from strength of schedule to we'll highlight a few free agency and draft picks too. But man, this was a crazy division. We're going to go ahead and kick off with the first team we're going to talk about today. Is going to be the Denver Broncos. Could even be the Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos here very soon. Mike, that's your team. You're a diehard fan, the most loyal fan that I know. Go ahead and kick us off, good sir.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. We've had some phenomenal additions. We've had some outrageous Madden rankings as every team had. Like Pat Surtain, they had in the 80s. Doug, they had Pat Surtain in the 80s, and this man had better. They have AJ Terrell. Anyway, saying all that to say, I just think our team has been disrespected, and we're going to come out swinging, adding Russ, adding DJ Jones. I've heard Mike, and Soup knows I'm a huge fan of Michael Ojemudia. I think he had the tools, and I've heard nothing but phenomenal things from him from camp. Nick Bonito, Randy Gregory. I'm not like super hype about Randy Gregory. I just think that he's Bradley Chubb, Nick Bonito, Malik Reed. That's a very solid pass rushing rotation. So I think we're gonna make some noise. We have a deep receiving core with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. So I feel like we're a loaded team. We really don't have a weakness outside of middle linebacker, I would say is our weakness. But again, it's a murderer's row, right? This division is going to be very tough. I think the Broncos are going to have one of the best improved seasons, and not because I'm being biased, is when you look at the schedule we have a tough schedule. But you also look at the additions we have and the strengths we have. I think if our offense kind of starts to gel, we'll be good to go. So I have the Broncos going 11-6 this year. And that's kind of where my predictions at. I think we're going to have a few tough games. I legitimately think I'm going to kick it off with this. Our division is going to split I think every team in our division will go 3-3 in the division. I think like literally we'll win a game and lose a game because it's so tough, man. All the teams have some talent. But I do have us going 11-6 and, getting into the playoffs for the first time since 15. So
I love it. Soup, man, what you got, man?
Look, man, I'm ready to jump out the window with this Broncos team. This roster almost makes me wish that I was a fan, but I'm not. Look, man, I got them going 12-5. Not only that, I got them winning the division. I know Kansas City fans don't want to hear it. I know Oakland don't want to hear it. I know every ESPN, NFL analyst don't want to hear it because they already done crowned the Chargers who haven't done anything since before I was born. But I got the Broncos, man. I'm so sick and tired of this narrative that Russ ain't an elite quarterback, that Russ is somehow washed, that his best days is behind him. Like, bro, have you seen what they're doing up in Seattle? They don't know what they're doing. The Broncos organization clearly knows what they're doing. And by the way, the last time they brought in a seasoned Super Bowl winning quarterback, that team turned around immediately. Okay? We're talking 2 Super Bowl appearances with 1 victory. Now, there's nothing more than I would love to see the Broncos end up in the Super Bowl. So that way me and my brother Mike here can have some friendly banter back and forth, in February as our 2 teams are playing each other, and then one of us can go home sad. So there's nothing more that I'd love to see that. But, man, this is a stacked team. Russell Wilson going to be rejuvenated playing behind, like Mike said in our other show, one of the best offensive lines that he's had in years, having the best running back that he's had since Marshawn Lynch, right? And then just an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver and tight end, right? Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Tim Patrick. Like this roster is loaded. Where's the weakness here? Like Mike said, it may be the middle linebacker, but if that edge rush is any decent, you won't have to worry about them. Because let me tell you something. I know something about soft middle linebacker play. Go back and watch Troy Reader last season. I know about soft middle linebacker play. They got better back there. That team is going to shock a lot of people. Honestly, and I'm not wishing this on you. I'm just letting you know what the history says, what the tape says. The only dangerous thing on their schedule is December 25th when they're playing the Rams. Not because they're playing the Rams, but the last 3 seasons that Russell Wilson has encountered Aaron Donald. He has not made it off the field healthy, and he has missed time because of it. That is not when you want your starting quarterback to go down in December, when real football is on the line. So if they can keep 99 off of him for Christmas, Russell Wilson is buying everybody the best Christmas gifts, and they should roll into the playoffs. Like you said, it's going to be scrappy in this division. It's going to be scrappy in the AFC. But this is a team that I could really see contending for a championship, but I do have them at number 1, 12-5.
Hot damn it, I love y'all, man. I just want to throw that out there. I share my opinion. I'm right in the mix, man. I'm going to give them 11 wins. 11-6, but they're making the playoffs, and they're going to be contesting for a Super Bowl, I believe. They'll be knocking at the door. I have nothing less than making it past the division. Nothing less. I mean, this team is a dominant force to be reckoned with. Russell Wilson, dude, he is, again, he's been running for his life. It's going to be like a breath of fresh air. You got that cool Colorado weather, man, and it's going to, man, the best O-line he's ever had, the best running back he's had since Marshawn Lynch. You know, you got better receivers than what you have. You have pretty good receivers over in but you're going to have stability. You have a team that really wants to win the championship, not that's going to pull up a McCarthy and be complacent after, your last Super Bowl appearance, right? So for Denver, it's more than moving tickets. It's more than jersey sales. It's about winning a championship, and this team is on to do that. I have nothing less than 11 wins, nothing but love for Denver Broncos. 11-6 is what I got them at. Next team we're going to talk about is going to take and be the Raider Nation. Raider Nation, I'm going to see y'all August 20th at the as the Miami Dolphins hopefully beat you for preseason. As preseason tickets, and I like saving money. But the Raiders, man, look, man, I'll keep this short and sweet. Great draft. Getting lots of depth on that team. Derek Carr is reconnected with this old college wide receiver, Devontae Adams. So I also have y'all going at 11 wins as well, too. So 11-6. This division is going to be, I don't see them losing to too many teams outside of the division, but within the division, it's going to be based, and I've used this analogy before, and I'm going to use it again. You're handing everybody in this division butter knives and saying, hey, go stab each other to death. But it's not like the NFC East was last year. These teams are actually really good and could beat you with the butt of that butter knife. This is going to get really, really crazy. So 11 wins, 6 losses for the Las Vegas Raiders. Soup, what you got on the Raiders, man?
Man, shout out to my brother Marshall, dog. He's a big Raiders fan. He'll be happy to know I have them at 10-7 this year. I like what they did this offseason, man. From the front office down to the actual roster, I really, really love what they did this offseason. You know, Josh McDaniels getting his second crack at a head coach, bringing over, some of his Patriots friends to be the GM. So we know that the top of the organization and the coaching, they are aligned. They have a collective vision. I like what they did, with all the other hires that they had in the front office, adding some females, some women in there. I think it's absolutely. I think number one, right? Good PR move for them, good PR move for the NFL. But I think those individuals that they hired are going to make significant contributions to that organization. So props to them first and foremost. But Devontae Adams, right? Like never in a million years would I have picked the Raiders as a landing spot for him. I was feeling pretty confident that he was going to leave Green Bay. I just did not think it would be to the Raiders. But how great that he's going to be reunited with college roommate. And I think that triple threat between him, Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, that's going to give secondaries, even the best secondaries in the league, they're going to have some fits up there. Mad Max, freshly minted, got that contract on him, right? He got to show you why he got that contract. Chandler Jones playing opposite him, man. This is a team that knows that they're weak on the back end. That secondary is suspect. That middle of the field is suspect. That is my biggest concern with this team. So where do they do? They invest in pass rush. And I think if they can get anything out of Max Crosby and Chandler Jones and they can apply pressure to some of these offenses, this is a team that's going to shock a lot of people. And like I said, I know people are out on Derek Carr. I get it, I guess. They're out on Derek Carr, but yet they're still somehow in on Kirk Cousins. They basically done the same amount of stuff. But I like this team, man. I like it a lot. They got some questions of what's going to happen at the running back position. I don't think Josh Jacobs is there after this season. I think that's why they went and signed they drafted a boy from not Michigan, from Georgia. Doesn't have a lot of tread on his tires either. So this is a team that nobody wants to play. You're not going to want to go to Vegas. You're not going to want to see them in December. This is a real football team. I got them in the wild card, 10-7.
Boom. I love it. Love it. Mike, what do you got the Raiders as?
I try to put all my biases aside the best I can, Doug. I do the best I can, right? Every day I try.
You do. And you do good, man. You do good.
I try, but I got the Raiders going 9-8. And the reason I say that is they still don't have a great line. Their offensive line, you still got Alex Leatherwood as one of your starters. I think he can develop into something in a few years. He's just not there yet. I think the offense that Josh McDaniels is going to run is going to take more than 1 year to get implemented. It's a great offense, but it's very complicated, right? So I think they're going to have some growing pains. Devontae Adams, I think I could throw him a football. You guys could throw him a football. He'd have 1,000 yards. He's number 1 or number 2 on Moffitt best receiver list. I think he is ahead of D-Hop, and I think Devontae Adams is the best receiver. Darren Waller, top 3 tight end in the NFL. Hunter Renfrow, top 2, top 3 slot receiver in the NFL. But with that being said, they don't always win at the right times. I think keeping their interim coach last year would have set them up for more success this year. Although Josh McDaniels is a name, I still think they should have gave him opportunity because he did some good things. But it's a tough schedule. I think they're going to really piss me off. They're going to piss some other teams off. They're going to win those games. And I think they may or may not slip into the wild card at 9-8. It might be kind of tough. But they're going to be a gritty team. This is going to be a dogfight in our division. I got them going 9-8. And I am not, let me throw this out there, Doug. I'm not the biggest, Derek Carr's not in the top 10 to me. I don't think Derek Carr's a top 10 quarterback. I think he's maybe 11, right? But there's easily me and Super talked about this. There's 10 quarterbacks I could rattle off the top of my head that I think are better quarterbacks than him. I don't think he's bad. I think he's better than Kirk Cousins. I'm not going to disrespect that man like that. I think he's a weapon. I think he's a quarterback you can win with. I just don't think he's going to get them over the hump. I don't see them winning a Super Bowl with Derek Carr as a quarterback, right? But I think they can make some playoffs, just not this year. They're probably going 9-8.
Okay, I could do that. That's a bold take, and you made some good points as well too. Next division. I said next division. Excuse me. My head is spinning because I have so much to say. Next team we'll talk about is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, the little brother to the Los Angeles Rams in that stadium. The Jets are to the Giants in that stadium. But this team is going to have a giant of a year. I have quite a few things to say. They have one of the most aggressive defenses that I've seen. Their secondary, from Chris Harris, J.C. Jackson. I mean, they have Quentin
Asante Samuel Jr.
Asante Samuel Jr. My number one issue with this team, I'll be honest with you guys, is going to be injury. Can Mike Williams stay healthy? Can Austin Eckler stay healthy? I notice when Herbert gets knocked around, he tends to get rattled. But again, he's only has been in NFL that long, but we have a good amount of tape on him, right? That being said, man, I got this team going. Mike, don't hate me on this one, man. I got them winning 13 games this year. I got the Chargers winning 13 games and contesting for that first seed in the playoffs, man. Now, I don't know what's going to happen when we get to playoffs. I'll keep it real. I have every team in this division making the playoffs, man. This division is I don't think I've ever seen a division like this probably in my whole life, maybe even in the history of the NFL. This is so exciting, man. All these teams should have a fear and a respect of each other. But again, if they could stay healthy, I got them at 13 wins. I don't have them going no lower than 11 wins. This team is going to be spectacular this year. And y'all know me, I hate the Chargers. I got jumped by Charger fans when I was in elementary school for wearing my Marino jersey in 4th grade by some disgusting redhead high schoolers. But I'm going to show y'all love on this one. I got y'all 13 wins. Mike, I'll go to you next, man. What you got the Chargers as?
Yeah, man, like you said something that I think people have to really think about again, right? Khalil Mack is a dog. Mike Williams is a dog. Joey Bosa is a dog. Derwin James is a dog. Austin Eckler is a dog, but they always get hurt. I don't think this team is a deep team. Again, like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on the field for an entire season is going to be devastating for every single offensive line. But the odds of them being on the field the whole season together, not being hurt, at least one of them or both of them, is about the same odds I have of making the Broncos roster right now at 33 years old almost, right? I don't think it's going to happen, right? Derwin James is an absolute dog, top 2, top 3 safety when he's healthy. Last year was the first season he's been healthy since he's been in the NFL, right? Austin Eckler is a scat back. He's a beast, but he's been hurt every single season, right? I'm not wishing injuries on them at all. I would never do that to any team, any player, whether I hate the team or love the team. But I just don't think they're going to – their history has shown the last 5 years that they haven't been able to stay healthy, right? Yeah. Aside from that, again, I respect Justin Herbert to an extent. I do. Soup, I respect him, right? Dude's a baller. He's a playmaker.
I think we all agree on that.
Yeah, but y'all got to stop this top 3, top 5 quarterback take. Like, he is not that yet.
Please.
He has not sniffed the playoffs. He hasn't been in the playoffs. And when he goes to the playoffs, that's a whole other thing you got to prove it, right? So again, this is one of the best teams on paper in the entire league, right? They just have a lot of injuries. They have a quarterback who, again, he's coming into his own. He's a Pro Bowl type quarterback. With that being said, he has not proven it when it matters, right? Like y'all had to tie or beat the Raiders, and he fumbled the bag. The Broncos team we had last year was not a good team. We should not have been in the same ballpark as the Chargers last year. We beat the brakes off the Chargers the last couple of years a couple times, right? They've got us, and then we beat the brakes off of them. So I just think that there's going to be games they drop that they have no business dropping. And I think, Doug, what you said would be best case scenario for them if everybody got healthy, everybody progressed, all that. If everybody stayed healthy, they have that shot. I just don't think it's going to happen, and I think that's going to put them at 10-7. I think they're going to have one more game, one than the Raiders, but one less than the Broncos, and I think they'll be third in the division.
Can I add a point too? Is I don't know if y'all remember. I think the year was, don't quote me on this, 2015 or 2016. Miami Dolphins, Dolphins reference again. Sorry. They had Cameron Wake, Ndamukong Suh, and Mario Williams. Y'all remember that year?
Yeah.
And they were talking. They was like giving a fly. But look what happened that year. It was not a good year. You overspent for stars, and you didn't get star quality when it came to your record. That could also happen this year. My whole thing with the Chargers is like they just have so many. Like it's. You can mark this as the biggest embarrassment in Chargers history if they miss the playoffs. The biggest embarrassment. I'm still out there. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No, I'm good. I think that's it. Like 10-7.
Okay.
Yeah, I think 10-7, man. There's really nothing else. I think we covered it. What you got, Sue?
You got me.
Well, first of all, Chargers fans, please send all care packages to Doug Smith because there ain't no way in hell y'all seeing 13 wins. Okay? Look, enjoy the offseason before reality sets in, right? Where you guys are at the top of everything, where Justin Herbert's the next best quarterback in the league, right? And that you guys are going to be all over the place and just embarrassing all your points. Enjoy the offseason now because reality sets in quickly. The Los Angeles Renters are going to go 9-8. And hold on, they're going to miss the playoffs again. They're going to miss the playoffs again. For some of the points that my co-host pointed out, right? Justin Herbert, I like the kid. I even liked him coming out of college. Me and Mike actually had debates during that draft where I was like, I like Herbert. And he's like, I don't like him. I don't like him coming out. But now we all like him. I think everybody likes him. I don't think if you have eyes and you watch football, you can't look at him and say he doesn't know how to play football. That being said, he hadn't won nothing. He hadn't done nothing. And you can blame it on the coach. You can blame it on the defense. You can blame it on the right. You can blame it on whatever, right? But I've seen quarterbacks with less talent, less on their roster do more. So I'm tired of the cap. I'm tired of the excuses for Herbert. This is his year. He has to produce. Oh, and by the way, if you haven't looked at the landscape in the NFL, these quarterbacks is getting paid. Do you don't think that Herbert's going to get paid early? That's going to affect your bill for the next few years. Or are y'all also going to try to duplicate what the Rams are trying to do, what the Rams have proven they can do, what the Bills are currently trying to do, what all these other teams, what the Cardinals are going to attempt to do, where you're very top heavy at the quarterback, and now you got to balance out the rest of this roster, right? Khalil Mack, as much as I love him, Khalil Mack has had one good season since leaving the Raiders, and that was his first season in Chicago, and he hasn't been above 10 sacks since that. I respect the name, but the name is more credible than the player at this point. And that's not necessarily his fault, right? He's been plagued with injuries. Joey Bosa is another kid. I respect the heck out of Joey, right? I think Nick is now the better Bosa, but he's got the same issues as Khalil, same issues as JJ, right? They cannot stay healthy for an entire season. I love Derwin James. So happy that he finally got a full season under his belt. I hope that's a sign of things to come, right? Because if he's healthy again, guess who's going to collect a giant bag this offseason, especially with wide receivers getting paid money. You don't think DBs and corners about to get all this? Yeah, that's going to be over $100 million coming at you. So I'm rooting for him to have a good season because there's nothing more than I would like to see than the Chargers tie up their entire cap between Derwin James and Justin Herbert. I can't wait for that. But that, like I said, that being said, as good as this roster is on paper, as dope as they're going to be to play with in Madden, that's not real life. And the Chargers are the Chargers until they prove otherwise. This team has historically been inept, has historically underwhelmed and underaccomplished every single season. I see no reason why that trend won't continue, especially with their division being as loaded and as tough. And the quarterback that you guys keep screaming that Justin Herbert is miles and miles and miles beyond. Now, don't get me wrong. Vegas would take Herbert over Carr in a heartbeat. But that guy that you keep saying like there's a massive chasm between them two couldn't beat him in a duel to get into the playoffs.
With less weapons.
With a bum secondary. With no running back. Stop it. And an interim coach in Rich Bisaccia. And this is no disrespect to Rich Bisaccia, but I was told that Brandon Staley was the second coming. That's what I had heard. So, like I said, all that being said, Chargers fans, you can say whatever you want. You can be mad. I don't care. You guys are baby brother, afterthought, homeless, rejects, whatever you want. You don't belong in LA. You definitely don't belong in the stadium. The battle for LA been over. We did that. Send y'all to St. Louis. Make those people happy. That way, Nah, Texas got enough teams. Send them to St. Louis. both the team and the city can be miserable together. 9-8, y'all missing the playoffs.
Woo! There it is. There it is. I love it. Damn, y'all got some hot takes. Y'all came with full ammunition, went to the gun shop and brought more guns with ammunition, man. I love it. I love it. And then we're gonna finish off the episode with the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll go ahead and I'll kick this, man. Probably my favorite. Like they had like the hardest draft class, man. I mean, I love who they got, man. Yes, they lost Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins. He was going to be missed. Can't quite replace him, but I believe a guy like Patrick Mahomes, much like a Tom Brady, much like Russell Wilson, much like a few, not too many quarterbacks could do this, could actually bring the best out of their wide receiver room. And so. Being that they, who's the wide receiver they got from Green Bay again?
Marquez Valdez-Scantling, MVS.
Yes,
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Guys, thank you for saying my bad, y'all. Being that they got him, I mean, again, not Tyreek Hill, but you're going to get some really great results. And with the accuracy that he brings to the deep ball, it's going to be fantastic. They still got a lot of depth. They still got the majority of the coaching staff there. I got this team at 12 wins. So what you got?
All right, man. Kansas City Chiefs, do not go disrespecting Patrick Mahomes. Stop disrespecting him. I seen y'all putting Justin Herbert over Patrick Mahomes. Stop it. Patrick Mahomes ain't never been number 2 in that division since he was a starter. So stop. This will be the first year that his team finishes number 2. Because like I said, I got the Broncos finishing number 1 in the AFC West. But man, oh man, I love what they did with this draft. I know everybody wants to trip on Tyreek Hill. And don't get me wrong, right? That's an element that defenses no longer have to account for. So they're, Andy Reid's going to have to show you guys that he can coach. Spoiler alert, he can do that. But they invested in secondary, man. They invested a lot in the secondary. They said, oh, we getting real quarterbacks in this division? Oh, we getting real weapons in this division? That shootout with Buffalo was a little too close for comfort. We need secondary. So they went and they took care of that, right? I love the pick Trick McDuffie out of Washington. I think he's going to be day 1 starter. I think it's an instant upgrade for them. George Karlaftis, out of Purdue, I think he's going to fit in real good next to Chandler Jones there. So I like what they've done. Sky Moore, I think is going to be sneaky good in this offense. The player that I had pegged that actually was going to be the shock His season just ended today. Justin Ross, unfortunately, they placed him on injured reserve, effectively ending his season. So I'm sad for that kid because he's overcome a lot. That was a kid that they thought was going to go pretty high in the draft, probably second or third round talent, potentially even first round talent. But because of that litany of medical issues, he went undrafted. So I was really rooting for him, hoping that he really got his shot. But make no mistake, man, MVS is a better receiver than what you think he is. I know Aaron Rodgers got y'all thinking that he's a bum. No, Aaron Rodgers just don't throw the ball to anybody not named Devontae Adams. That's the thing. MVS is actually a pretty decent receiver. Not like a superstar receiver, but he's a good receiver. Mecole Hardman got some wheels on him faster than you think. And like I said, that addition to Sky Moore, let's not forget TikTok dancer extraordinaire Juju Smith-Schuster is part of the Kansas City Chiefs. And whether you love him or you hate him, you got to respect his game on tape, man. Like it's another good weapon for Patrick Mahomes. I think this offense is going to continue to evolve. They got to figure out the running back position, right? Because we all thought that Clyde Edwards-Helaire was going to be it. I think 2 years into this thing, I think everybody here can comfortably say that he's probably not the answer. Is that guy Isaiah Pacheco out of Rutgers? Is he the answer? Probably not, but we'll find out. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. What it boils down to is what can Patrick Mahomes do? And I have more faith in Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid than I do in a lot of coaches and quarterback combinations in this league. And regardless of the rest of the team around them, I know that they'll have the ability to throw their way out of damn near any deficit. Expect them to remain extremely competitive. I got them finishing second place in the division, 11-6.
Love it. Mike, go ahead and take us home, man.
Yeah, man. I think y'all hit some great points on the head, and like the Trent McDuffie pick, I think is completely understated. They hit a home run in that pick. This like Soup knows, like I was so depressed watching their draft, Doug, because it was like people that I was like, man, they're not about to fall to the right explicit as I almost said I didn't. But Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, I think he's a top 15 player. Soup, me and him had a little bit of disagreement on that. He thinks he's a first-round talent. I think he's like a mid-first-round talent. I think he's going to absolutely ball out there. Sky Moore, I don't even think it's going to be a sneaky good pick. I think that's Tyreek Hill's replacement within a year or two. I think it's going to take us some time to get that down, but I think he's going to do everything Tyreek Hill can do without the off-the-field concerns. And Brian Cook out of Cincinnati, he transferred from HBCU to Cincinnati, ended up being a good move for him. And then Leo Chanel, Leo Chanel, that dude is a monster at middle linebacker. So, saying all, and then Darian Kennard tackle 5th round, like gives them some good depth on an already good offensive line. Saying all that to say, I think they have a lot of young players that are going to have to be in good positions. Running back is their weakness. The weakness they had in the secondary, I feel like is solved now, but I still don't feel like their linebacking core has the thump that they need to have. All the way. Their line is solid, but I have them going 11-6. I got the Broncos going 11-6. I got the Chiefs going 11-6. And I think it's going to come down to whoever wins that last game between those two teams is going to be the division champion. The person that loses that last game between those two, then loses that tiebreaker, is going to be in the wild card. And that is going to be the wild card team nobody wants to play. I can guarantee it. I do think there is a significant gap, Doug, between the Bills and the Chiefs at this point. I think the Bills in general are far and away the best team in the AFC, in my personal opinion.
Until they prove they're not.
But with that being said, I think the Chiefs are the Chiefs until they're not the Chiefs, right? But we'll definitely get a win on them. We'll break that losing streak of, since 25th, like 6 seasons we haven't had a W against that team. That'll end this year, and I still think they'll go 11-6. I trust them a lot to figure it out. And I just think that they have to figure out the running game, or it's going to be very difficult for them to win another Super Bowl with Pat Mahomes.
Well, I think the thing that's going to be more important for them to figure out, right, and I think is the question that's burning up the front office right now, is what are you going to do with Orlando Brown Jr.? You made him a pretty significant offer, and he basically laughed at you and said there ain't no way. He wants Trent Williams money. And that being said, he's younger than Trent. So I'm almost banking he wants more than Trent. So that's going to put this team in a very interesting position, right? Like they don't have to worry about it this season. But as soon as their season ends, whenever it ends, that's something that they're really going to have to focus on, because I don't know if you can go back to the drawing board and go find another Orlando Brown Jr. Like, especially since you got Mahomes locked up that long and having that kind of money attached to your quarterback and then paying out what used to be considered a quarterback size contract to your tackle, I think is going to be tough for them, especially with Kelsey under contract. That Tyreek not being under contract may be a blessing in disguise. Or who knows, man? Maybe they'll make some cap magic. We all know it's not real.
I love it. I love it, man. Hey, you know what they say? The cap is definitely a myth. Wink, wink. Hey, thank you guys so much for coming on, joining me today, man. Sue, Mike, this was a lot of fun doing these predictions with y'all. And folks, there you have it. Those are our predictions, man, for the entire AFC West, the biggest, baddest division in the NFL. Could even have your next Super Bowl champion in it as well, too. So go ahead, go down below, hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, let us know what you think. Hit that bell for a reminder. And we'll catch y'all next
now another Sports Center, it's a movement.